maybe the government of Uganda is now in good hands with him, or he's still in Turkey. Stories like that are still developing. No one else for now has a clear understanding of what's going on. But the politics of Uganda is always the same, and we keep on changing from day in, day out. What we know or what we don't know, the answer remains we have to find out. Tonight, I'm joined in the studio by a couple of members who have been great political analysts. But before I bring them on board, we are also going to be joined by a former Ugandan diplomat who will give us better understanding of how this entire situation is worked on and why and how possible can somebody be extradited from another country back into his country by the help of his original country. We need to understand all these key policies that come up every single day. We have seen members of parliament arguing that, oh, maybe bloggers have to be controlled or vloggers have to be controlled. The questions and answers that are never answered. The questions that are never answered and answers that do not have questions. This is the Epic Front. Welcome once again. My name again, David Rubura. Gentlemen, I want to thank you for joining me today, Richard Myombia and Apollo. It's been a very tough week in the politics of Uganda. Many arguments have been going on. And Richard, I understand that you have been following on the history of the country and the politics of the country for quite a long period of time. And these things are new now, right from the president saying, well, I need to get hold of these people who abuse me and abuse the policies, or even our policymakers, people who abuse our cultural leaders, or people who stand against the cultural leaders who are against the people. It's been a very strong discussion, and I want to thank you guys for again, joining me in the studio. I'll be later joined by former Ugandan diplomat who will throw more information on that. But let me start with you guys in the studio. Richard, you're far from me, so I'll start with you. What comes in your minds when you look at the stories that are going on in the country? But let me ask you this. Start by greeting the audience.
Good evening, good afternoon. How are you today? My name is Richard Myombia. I've been away for a while. I had some issues, but I'm now back because aluta continua.
And I'm glad to have you again. Apollo, I want to ask you before I actually bring in Richard Myombia. The stories that have been going on, I know you've been following all these stories. How was your week and what comes into your minds when you see these things happening?
Greet you all, our viewers and the AITV viewers. It's been a long time. We've been having a lot of things going on, and but we thank God we're still alive, and we thank God for everyone who is still alive. Life is expensive, so we thank God.
All right, sure. I want to thank you guys. Let's get started. The story of Lumbuye is no longer a story of vloggers and bloggers. It's more of what is the country doing against people who criticize the government? It's more of why is the government so interested in bloggers outside the country who have been criticizing it for a long period of time? Why is the government today thinking that it's possible to take you out of where you are if you stand against our policies? I want to start with you, Richard. When you look at the story of Lumbuye, it's not a story of that guy, what he used to say. It's a message that is being sent by the government to the people in the diaspora that regardless of what you do, we are watching you. What does it mean to you?
No, the first thing, my audience, or the people that are watching us live today, is that there's a story. I'll give you a story first of all. The story says that there was one prophet one time who saw that he was alone in the struggle for God. And God told him, no, I have some that 6,000 I don't know that are hidden somewhere that you even don't know. So the catching of Lumbuye is a signal to all of us, especially us that are quick to the government of Uganda for a long time. That whatever you do, we shall come for you, whatever you are in the whole world. It's not new that Museveni is doing these things. It started long ago by the passport. You see, this man is so evil. Museveni is so evil that eventually he's going to fall. He started by, you cannot renew. He took away citizenship from us. You come here, you came to work, you came to support your family because of the poverty and the circumstances he himself has created in the country. And you come in a country here, you are not supposed now to renew a passport in the embassy. No country in the whole world does it except Museveni and his goons in the country. That if you want to renew your passport, you have to go to Uganda to renew your passport. And you have to wait for 3 months before they give you the so-called Nini number on Dangamoto. Whereas people who came from Congo today, people who came from Sudan, people who came from Rwanda, people who came from Kenya, people who came from Tanzania can get it in a week.
All right.
Now, before I finish the submission
right.
here, so this campaign was making sure that he shuts out critics that are outside the country. It's not new. The Lumbuye issue is so big that Museveni had to do whatever he does to shut it, but it's wrong. I'll explain to you when you ask me more, you give me more time after a submission.
Yes, thank you, Richard. Apple, you've been a very great critic of these vloggers and bloggers over how they bring out their arguments and suggestions and how they criticize the government on a number of key issues that are affecting the Ugandan people. Let me ask you this, and the public would like to have a very honest answer from you. Were you happy that this gentleman, who has been a great critic of the Ugandan government, is being now put into this kind of lifestyle where everyone is under pressure? What is he going to be? What is the government going to do to him? What is going to happen? Are you now happy that supposedly, if he was extradited and taken back to Uganda, are you happy that that happened?
I don't think I'm happy about that. And I cannot be happy about that. But I can be happy in when there's a lesson we are learning. I think we have to know exactly what they call activism and propaganda. My friend Muyomba here, we're always with him. And he always tell you that Museveni has done this, Museveni has done this, Museveni has done this. There is no medicine in the hospital, the roads are this, the other one is this, the other one is this. So it's not bad. By the way, we shouldn't take to this as that Lumbuye. I didn't want to talk about such people, you know, because I always talk so much about national builders. Some people who are just propagandists, I don't have time with them.
But it's been confirmed that he's a political activist who has been working so hard making sure that things get better in the country. And he has a right as a Ugandan.
He is not a political activist. Activism does not mean to call someone a prostitute. There is nothing that to add on activism. This same fella, this same person called the Queen of Uganda a prostitute. I have a video. A Queen of Uganda, Nabagirika. He called her a prostitute. Adding into that, he became the announcer, maybe a funeral service of people who announce people who are dead. The same fella said that the body of Superior Ruanga was taken to Rajtura and the government urinated on it. I have a video. Right. So where is that comes with an activism? I want someone to tell me. I'm not happy because Lumbuye was maybe arrested or whatever it is. But I'm happy that I think we're going to learn a lesson. If I've been criticizing the government very many times, and I don't have a problem with people who are saying the government has put us under bondage, under captivity of this and this. I've been saying it openly. But let's learn a lesson that at least we should differentiate between an activism and a propagandist.
All right, guys, I want to thank you. At this point, since the debate is becoming so hard, I want to bring in my good friend and former Ugandan diplomat, Martin Arabe. He has been a very strong advocate for change in Uganda. He has been following up on all these developing stories. Martin, I want to thank you for joining me today. It's really a great honor to have you on this show. We have taken forever without talking, but it's a very nice experience to have you again on the show. Martin, first of all, I want to start with this question, sir. When you heard about this information that a Ugandan who has been living outside the country for many years is going to be extradited by the Ugandan government, what came into your minds when that happened?
It is alarming. It's an aspect that is alarming to everybody in the world who cherishes freedom, especially freedom of expression. We live here in the United States where the tenet of discipline is very critical. Do you hear me very well?
Yes, I do.
Freedom of expression is very critical. Now, there is a gentleman there, Apollo. We usually talk well. He said he doesn't respect me much these days. I appreciate that. But I will tell you something. We must distinguish between freedom of action and discipline of content. Freedom, everybody must have freedom in the world to do what they please to do, especially freedom of expression. When it comes to discipline of content, that is a matter between you and the listeners. The reason why I support Lumbuye's cause is because I fight for freedom and rights of every individual. But it does not matter whether that individual is speaking the truth or lies. I fight for the freedom of that individual. That individual may be a small common mularo who thinks he's a genius, or a Fred Lumbuye. I'll fight for them equally. However, when it comes to content, we have differences there. Does Lumbuye's content pass the standard of discipline? Most of us don't even agree with him some of the time. But that does not take away the fact that he's a man with human rights. You cannot extradite Lumbuye and take him to Uganda, where he's hunted like an animal. What? We all know what shall happen to Lumbuye once he steps on Ugandan soil. And we hasten to say that must not happen. We must not allow it, because we fight for individual freedoms. So while we discuss, and I see those gentlemen
right
mixing two things, freedom of the individual and discipline of content. Please separate them, and then the discussion will go forward.
But I want to ask you, Matt, before I let you go, not actually going out of the show, but I want to ask you this question. When you look at the kind of information this gentleman was displaying over the years, does that represent what you guys or people who are in the opposition or who want to see change, does that represent your agenda, or is something that he as a person had his freedom to say whatever he wanted? And when you look at when you look at when you look at the international level, you and I agree that there, regardless of whether you have the freedom to speak what you want, there are also consequences. So what does that tell you when you see something like that happen?
That thing brings about the issue of territoriality, control over content. These days, we have a new perspective in internationalism. That is the issue of the web and who controls what. The perspective that the web brought is that it takes action to a wider space without control. The world, internationalism has yet failed to come up with regulations to regulate discipline of people who speak from space. We have not yet agreed, because nobody controls space. The only space that any country controls is that which is within the country, 200 miles above it. That's the only space you control. 200 miles of space above you, that's all you control. You don't control anything beyond that. Now, when it comes to regulation, humanity has come out with its own standard of acceptability. rather than control. Even if Lumbuye is not controlled, there is what we call acceptability. Who are the people who accept Lumbuye and who are the people who don't accept him? Lumbuye does not speak for NUP. No. Lumbuye does not speak for people power. No. Lumbuye does not speak for all the freedom fighters of Uganda. No. He speaks for change. And those who want his message, take it. Those who don't want it, don't take it. And it is a free world. Free world. And when he speaks, some people like Apple get angry and say, why does this man speak these funny things? And they don't listen to him, which is the control, natural control, which is agreeable, very agreeable. So instead of controlling him, leave him to the listeners to decide whether they want him or no.
All right.
You, the government, don't go after him. No, that is illegal. You don't have control over spaces beyond your own space.
All right. Martin, I want to thank you. Please hang on. From there, let me actually bring in Apple. Apple, there is some kind of like a very small debate between the two of you, and I want to get back to you straight away. The way he has explained it clearly tells that there is this important message of letting people bring out what they have, the freedom to speak. What is your reaction on that? Because this is the very most important part as to why people today are debating on why this guy had to be extradited by the Ugandan government or why he had to be even arrested back in Turkey. So what's your response on that issue?
I think, my friend, first and foremost, I want to tell him that I respect him so much. Even sometimes when you're in a wrong place, when you're in a wrong team, I still respect. I know how to respect people. I was talking with somebody in Kawempe there, somebody who loves so much Segirinya, and that person was telling me that I don't want even someone to talk about Segirinya the way he does things here. And I told him, Segirinya is good from the day one.
Right.
But he's in a wrong people. He's in a wrong people. That's the problem. It's the same thing you see. There are some good elements in the government which are good, but they are in the wrong system. They are in the rotten system. You know what I'm saying? So I look at let me talk about internal affairs. I think Mr. Martin didn't explain so much about internal affairs. I don't know, when we talk about Lumbuye, the message that comes out of Turkey, this guy has been there for quite a long time, and he's been undocumented. First and foremost,
those are just rumors that people are spreading. We haven't had any facts yet.
No one of us are in Turkey, so that what we are talking about is what we hear
from other propagandists.
Yes, and another thing, Turkey does not grant citizenships or asylum seekers. You go there to work, and you have to renew your visa when it's done. I think which Lumbuye didn't do. So it created him a loophole for the government, because what we should know even first and foremost, Turkey is in Europe. I don't think even America can tolerate someone who is undocumented. You heard so many times they deport them, they take them back. So my point is, Mr. Martin talked about freedom of expression. I don't think I mentioned earlier what this guy was saying. I'm not saying he did not mention what was good. He mentioned things that put Ugandan people in bondage, and he went beyond the limit. But going beyond the limit is what I mentioned about. I have a video here,
whereby
attacking individuals like Nabagereka of Buganda and you call her a prostitute, I don't see where it really does with human rights. Because even Nabagereka has her human rights. That's attacking his home. That's a very great woman in the country. You know what I'm talking about.
Right.
Denouncing the king of Uganda dead. We have all the videos. These are not rumors. These are the things which on video. It has nothing to do with the struggle, with nothing, absolutely. So, to me, I get a lesson in this. I've been in politics. I've been a political activist. I interacted with many people, opposition people. I've never seen anybody going beyond this border of like leaving what he's supposed to do and attacking homes, people individually, stuff like that. Announcing them dead.
There will be an argument that this is one way of how people express their frustrations. But I want to thank you, Apple. Let me bring in Richard. Sure. Richard, this is a very interesting story because it's no longer about one individual. It's more about the people in the diaspora. The government is looking at. This is not the first time we have seen the government trying to put out information that, hey, we are coming for you. When you come back here, we will arrest you. Remember, a couple of years ago, the then spokesperson of police said once they come in here, Emiliano Kaimas said once they come in here, we are going to arrest them. Is this a continuation of that event?
Let me first put in a submission here. My land friend here said that Turkey, a European country, does not give people asylum. I'll give you an example of the Syrians that were escaping, so many from Syria during the Obama era. Many of them were given asylum into Turkey, which is a European country. The second thing is what we call the statute of limitation for every country. In America, you are allowed to ask asylum by law, not exceeding 1 year, but you can go up to 2 years, sometimes 4 years. So the statute of limitation for Turkey, we don't know. The second thing that I wanted to tell my land friend is about the Chaguran plan, because you people, you underlook Chaguran, or the people power movement leader, our leader Chaguran, as someone who is just sitting when he took Zake to Turkey. Let me give you first of all that a person must be in an immediate danger to ask for an asylum. So Lumbuye had to go to the nearest American embassy when the statute of limitation for Turkey had expired, because the evidence is there, even in the paper, that is under terrible threat if he's taken back to Uganda. But because he's not allowed to move from the custody to get a bond so that he can go to an American embassy and get an asylum. What people power has done, even sending Zake to Turkey, is to coordinate with our international lawyers. We have the Amsterdam, we have the State Department. No, let me explain this. People think that we're just sitting down and we're just watching this in a show when our comrade is in trouble. Now, I'll explain why he's in trouble. Now, if he's not there, then the lawyers are going, international human rights lawyers are going to represent in the UN, in the State Department, and Lumbuye will come in America, here. He will seek asylum and he will.
But you know the allegations, and you know I'm going to bring in shortly Martin back to talk about the international laws that may have been broken. But Richard, I want to ask you this. I want to ask you this question. The issue at hand here is that the government of Uganda said that they know where he is, and they expect him to be brought back to the country or taken back to Uganda on such and such a day, which was today. So nobody knows right now, because. Let's be clear, let's be honest to the public that is watching us right now. Nobody knows. The people that were sent from the opposition, that is Honorable Zake and Sassim Marvin, who is one of the lawyers of NUP, have not provided any concrete
but yesterday
information
Zake yesterday put it out clearly. Put it clearly that we have engaged. Zake put it out, but what I'm telling to you, I'm giving it to you through experience, that Lumbuye, we shall fight for him, and he will come to America. That's the period. But we are not going to be coming out and giving press statement now that we have put our application here. We have put our application here. Now let me give you another thing for Lumbuye. Why Lumbuye's issue is a very important one. Now, I'm going to give you a Uganda confidential. Dead man, Teddy Cheye. I don't know if you ever saw Teddy Cheye. Teddy Cheye was one of the independent newspaper, I don't know, journalists that was in Uganda.
Right.
He had Uganda confidential.
I've had him, right.
Even had his copies here. He used to leak out, every person who wanted to leak out information from the government would get it to Uganda Confidential. And Museveni tried so much to stop him by even making sure that he made him poor, bankrupt. He became bankrupt.
All right.
Now let me explain and finish it to you. When he fell, because the leakage that was coming out, the rotten that was coming out from the NRM government was leaking through the Uganda Confidential. What he did when he became bankrupt, he gave him a job, of which Teddy Cheye accepted in the security. When he accepted the job, stupid enough, he ate the money that was given to him on the day of accountability. Because that's how Museveni tricks you. He lets you free and comes one day and say, now you count for everything, the pen I gave you. Cheye fell in accountability and was taken to Ruzira.
All right.
When he came out of Ruzira, because Museveni would not let him go idle, and you remember Cheye arrested all the people that were giving him all the information. So this thing of Lumbuye, Museveni wants to know who are the people that have been leaking, including his own people, into government, who have been leaking the information to Lumbuye, because Lumbuye has very good sources of people that have been giving him information. Then once he gets Lumbuye into the ground, he will have to torture him and make sure that this window is closed. That is the importance, and that's what we shall fight, so that Lumbuye does not go to Uganda. He will not go. If he's not there, he will not go.
All right.
Chagwany has the capability with his international friends, international lawyers. Chagwany has the capability to do this.
Right.
Don't underestimate us that we're just sitting down.
Yeah, sure. I want to thank you, Richard, and I want to bring in Richard. Martin, the number of questions, and then Richard actually mentioned about it, that the government is now just playing around to kind of intimidate people when it comes to the decision that it's making against Lumbuye, and of course all the people in the diaspora. But I want to ask you a question. If just in case, we have not confirmed it, but just in case he's extradited back to Uganda, are there any international laws that are being broken by the Ugandan government and the tax government?
Well, the thing is, first of all, bringing him itself is a little problematic now because, number one, as you know, some of my friends over there have alluded to the fact that Turkey is a European country. Now, Turkey is not yet a European country as such, but it has tried to integrate most of its systems with Europe. But its application to join the EU is still pending since 1999. And the reason why that is pending is the dynamics of Judeo-Christian culture, which is the foundation of Europe, and the Islamic culture of Turkey. Nothing else beyond that. So it is the dynamics of those two religions, because some powerful people who have no reason why Turkey should not be in Europe are simply saying it is an Islamic country. They don't say those things officially, but those are things, most of the diplomacy takes place in the dark. So there are whispers that this is an Islamic country which should not be allowed. Now, that having been said, once you understand those dynamics, then you start to ask, what is Lumbuye's fate? The Turkish would like to show Europe that they are law-abiding and they have good cultures and they don't abuse human rights of asylum seekers. Or by the way, Turkey also grants asylum, as Mr. Muyombia rightly said. So
that's not true.
There is that dynamic. Do we send him? If we send him, what will Europe say? Now, before that, who are the people who have made Lumbuye an issue? You see, never underestimate the power of activism, online activism especially. Ugandans, in their traditionalism, traditional ways, have made some commendable and respectable noise on social media about Lumbuye. Now, we know that the social media of the Turkish government, especially the president, is very complicated because he tweets something and all of a sudden, if you don't tweet like, 2,000 tweets to follow it, to follow something, he may not catch your attention. And by he, I mean those who work for him. I don't mean we want the attention of the president. Because once they tweet, it's people who work for him who get the buzz and say, what is Lumbuye? What is Uganda? What's happening here? And then they take notice. Now, that is why for us activists who want the freedom of Lumbuye have been pushing our people to tweet as much as possible so that the people around the presidency of Turkey can sniff and say, what's this happening? What's this happening about Uganda and Lumbuye? Because again, there is a risk that the people, the government of Turkey don't even know about the social activism taking place. And if that happens, then Lumbuye will go back very easily. Social activism is what can save him right now. If that noise is not there, social activism and the lawyers, international lawyers, all those can help. But if that noise is not there, Lumbuye will have a problem. He will go back to Uganda. Now, about NUP and what is NUP doing and what it hasn't done, I know that Honorable Zake was already scheduled on a trip to Turkey as a parliamentary commissioner. So these things happened to chance with his trip as a commissioner of parliament to Turkey. As regards the international lawyer he has partnered with now, I don't know much and I don't know what's going on.
Right.
But back to your question, suppose Lumbuye comes back.
Right.
What's going to happen? Lumbuye will be tortured because, as you have been told by my fellow prisoners here, the government needs information from him. That is the truth. And they want to plug that hole of people who are giving him the information. That is absolutely true. He will be tortured. Now, it is that torture and the international treaty against torture that other activists are working with, including international lawyers, to see that Lumbuye's return does not happen.
All right, but there is, Martin, there is this debate going on. The people who stood against the members of parliament have also heard about the Queen of Uganda, and have had, all these other cultural leaders and other strong leaders in the country that he went against, not for political reasons, but maybe for other personal reasons. But I want to ask you this question. You see the grudges and the grievances that these people have been having. In your opinion, do you think now is the time for bloggers and vloggers to come out straight instead of attacking these other individuals who are not politically driven, and then they focus on the key issues that they want to push out, to focus on their politics as usual, not going into the social lives of these individuals? Do you think now is the time for that?
Yeah, you have asked such a pertinent question. For me, I really believe in discipline, even when it comes to political revolution. Because if there is no discipline, the political revolution will fail. That I can promise you. So, all people who call themselves bloggers and vloggers, there's one thing they must do always. They must exercise personal discipline. Because if you don't exercise personal discipline, first of all, you lose an audience which has a brain. You stay with what I call the Walala audience. The Walala audience, first of all, has no impact beyond noise. Walala audience cannot change a government. If it would, when the elections were stolen early this year, this government would have fallen. But all the Walalas were keeping quiet in their houses. They are people who matter. I call them a few good men. Those few good men can do a few things and the government falls. But are they with you? No. Do you know why they are not with you? You are grossly indisciplined. All people who are blogging and whatever they are doing should learn from this experience. Please do not be indisciplined. Do the thing.
Are you suggesting that the reason why I mean, this is a sex question, but are you suggesting that the reason why many well-mannered and well-informed people are now trying to distance themselves from NUP could be because of vloggers and bloggers and some associates who have been abusing people? Is that what you're trying to confirm here?
Absolutely, absolutely. In fact, there are a lot of good men and good women who see some of us and say, what is this man doing there? Because they think that everybody who is now agitating for change is a ruffian, which is not the case. So many people want change. And a lot of those people are disciplined. And those disciplined people are the people, frankly, who can think meaningful contributing for change.
Right.
So you have most of the bloggers have become indisciplined, spewing indiscipline, chasing away those people, depriving themselves of actual quality, essential contribution, staying with what people who have nothing to do other than abuse and clap hands.
Let me
I want to thank you, Martin. Before you go, let me bring in Richard. And
let me give you. First of all, my land friend Martin said something that there are so many people because I see them,
right?
Even me. But our leader, President-elect Chagwen, said this is volunteerism, where you come in to volunteer to do that, we get a change. There's so many people that don't have a background of the politics and the solutions for the country, but they come to volunteer and risk their life for the struggle, which is
right.
Good. The second thing, you asked about something that say that what will happen if Lumbuye is brought back into the country by the existing law?
Right, that's a good question because...
Yeah, because I'm going to give you an example, working example of Fred Kajjubi. Fred Kajjubi is one of Kabaka's representatives here in America, here in Massachusetts, a Saza, what they call it Saza. He was one of the activists that went to support when there was a company that was working with the oil business in Uganda,
right,
with Museveni, and they were trying to block it. It hurt Museveni so much. When Fred Kajjubi went back to Uganda, on the airport, they were waiting for him. Good enough, he had called the newspaper and the spread rumor. He made a mistake because he had a Ugandan citizenship that he had reclaimed, an American citizenship of which he had, which was a great mistake. Now, do you know what happened? He was put out in a safe location, not allowed to move, not detention, but under house arrest for 1 month, until the director of persecution in Uganda said clearly by law, I cannot persecute this man under Ugandan law because, as Martin said, he never did any crime on a Ugandan soil. So whatever this man has been doing, even if he's taken to Uganda, the only thing they can do to him is get a case and put it against him like they did for Pato, who killed someone who was in South Africa, to put him in custody. But under the law, whatever Lumbuye has been doing outside Ugandan soil does not account in a Ugandan courts of law.
All right, sure. I want to, guys, I want to thank you. But, I want to leave this debate. But one last thing that, Apple, I want to bring you into is when the president came out to say we are going to crush those people who have been abusing and announcing us dead in courts for the president, and people who said, oh, the president is dead, the Kabaka is dead, this one is the religious leader is dead. Do you think the president was preparing the minds of Ugandans that by the time we get into a situation where we are right now, he was just preparing them that, hey, get ready, something big is coming, that it was already planned weeks before? He said, he came and set it up. Apple, what's your view?
I think this is not about what the president say. It's about discipline. Discipline. That's why I asked a question which I think nobody has ever, or nobody answered the question. Where is activism has to announce Apollo dead? Where is activism has to call me a prostitute? Where is activism has to abuse me, to attack my family? Where is, even if it's struggle, So I think from day one, before even the elections of 2021,
right,
when there was a kind of the atmosphere of elections and stuff like that, I did warn these people of NOP many times, and I told them, calm down, go slow. You will either dip yourself, either you will destroy yourself, and you will think that someone is destroying you. Now, I talked to one of the girl that used to be in one of the TVs here, advocating for NOP, and she told me, you see, even that Lumbuye, even Bobby Wine doesn't know him. Even he's not even talking on behalf of us, as like Martin said. But now, this is the time where we've seen people who are saying they are not with him, because Bobby Wine knows so many times to tweet and send on the page something like that. But now he's in the background sending people. He has not even come out of that. He's behind somebody, because he knows this guy, whatever he was saying, 100% was wrong.
So you wanna say that it was creating damage to the National Inter-Platform Organization, or it was this was an individual who had his right to do whatever he wanted to do.
I told you,
freedom.
I think we should be internationally, or we should be updated to the way the world moves. UPDF has a spokesperson or a spokesman. NOP has a spokesman, right?
Right.
I talked about this long time ago, that please try to denounce people and tell the viewers, tell the world that as long as this person speaks A, B, C, D, we don't send him to say that. Even they have access, listen to me.
Right. So,
hold on. They have access to talk to these people and say, this here, you've gone too much. You know what I'm talking about.
Right.
Now, how can somebody wake up in the morning and say something to the Queen of Uganda and no one comes out even and say, no, this is wrong, this is beyond that?
I don't know why you're so much insisting on the issue of Queen of Uganda, but I want to.
Yeah, because when you say that someone is a prostitute, either you find that person in the lodge or a hotel or somewhere. I mean, you should have said to me, but Queen of Uganda, she's a very big. All right,
guys, I want to thank you. But let me bring in Martin before Richard and bring you in. Martin, we are soon getting out of this debate, but this discussion. But do you feel like there is lack of coordination in the flow of information between within especially the opposition wing, who are now working hand in hand on the issue of Lumbuye? The reason I'm asking that is because it's not just about Lumbuye at this point, but the diaspora community. We are seeing different messages from different officials within the same organization. Mwadam Kunyinji, who is one of the lawyers of the organization, comes up and says, we have seen this and this and this and this. Then before you know, another commissioner within the organization who is a member of parliament, for example, Honorable Zake, says different information. So do you think within the National Inter-Platform, for this case, who are taking a strong hand into this matter, do you think there is lack of that coordination within this organization that's now leaving everything down and leaving people uninformed about the situation?
You see the thing of Lumbuye, first of all, is not a matter of NUP. It's not an official matter of NUP. Lumbuye, as I said, is a critic of Museveni, and he wants change. So this has endeared him to all forces who work for change. Let them be NUP or any other person, people in the diaspora or any other person. So, first of all, it is wrong to say NUP is coordinating his release. No. Whatever is happening is on the individual efforts. And if it is the individual efforts of the people, you can naturally expect that there will be some miscoordination because they don't belong to the same organization. Even if they belong to the same organization, they don't have an official script. It is all individual what do you call it?
Individual work or support or engagement? Isn't that a problem on its own, that people from the same house come out and spread different information on the same subject matter? Isn't that a problem to especially the opposition now?
No, I think the opposition is not homogeneous. It's not. It is. It's different. It has different perspectives. But even then, if it was NUP, I think has existed for less than a year. So you can't put it to them that they are uncoordinated. No. In fact, they are way beyond what they are supposed to be doing now, because they have existed for less than a year. But as we said, the opposition is not homogeneous. They are different people, and they are doing different things. So that issue must not arise.
Yeah, sure. Martin, my last question, actually, we're going to get out of the Lumbuye's case very soon. In a couple of months or weeks from now, we expect new leadership within the UNA organization in the United States of America or North America. And over the years, just like what we see in Uganda, the problems that Uganda's politics is facing, we have seen them in UNA. An organization that was meant to help Ugandans is now an organization fighting between NRM and then FDC, now NUP versus NRM. Is UNA, first of all, I would start with that question. Do you think UNA is still on course for why it was created?
Yeah, I think UNA is generally on course. It is just that Ugandans are now not interested in social, cultural, and economic issues of their country. They are only interested in the politics. They are more interested in the politics. Otherwise, UNA is still on course because UNA is apolitical. So in as much as it handles things that are non-political, they're still doing a good job. But the problem was brought in by NRM, which tended to politicize UNA, come in and put its people. And that is wrong. UNA should be left neutral. But the thing, having said that, it is also very important that the Ugandan diaspora knows where it is coming from. 70% of the Ugandan diaspora are people who came out of their country against their will. They didn't want to be here, but they came out because the political situation, the economic situation mainly, was very bad, and they came here. Now, it is therefore inconceivable that you separate politics from UNA. It comes in as a way because it affects the individual members of UNA. These people are here because of misgovernment at home. The Museveni regime has mismanaged the country. That is why most of the Ugandan diaspora are outside. Therefore, when the Ugandan diaspora is going to elect leaders in UNA, it must make sure that it elects those who are not related to the regime. Because it is stupid to go and elect people who are connected to the regime, which brought about your coming into the diaspora. Home is better. However much this diaspora is sweet, home is best. We know that. So don't vote those people connected to the regime which forced you out here. Vote people who are not connected to that regime.
But
that's we need to make.
Yeah, Martin, lastly, this is my last question, and I'll let you go. So, I really appreciate the time. But the point is, this organization, according to their constitution, was meant to unite Ugandans, not based on their political parties, but based on them being around to help each other economically, socially, one would say politically. And what we're seeing today is that every decision made is now based on the political agenda that was created back from Uganda. They don't talk about maybe new organizations within North America. They talk about NRM, NUP, FDC back in Uganda. Isn't that now against the key core values of the organization that was meant to help Ugandans, for example, on their immigration issues, their social life, if they lack food to stand in? We don't see that happen. What you only hear, and this is with facts, is people crying and fighting against one political party to another.
You have brought out a very good point. In fact, the best way to make UNA stand for the non-political pursuits that it was set up for is to get politics out of UNA. Now, how do we get politics out of UNA? This time around, they have a team called the United Team. This United Team has people from NRM, has people from NUP, has people from DP. And when I looked at it, I said, these young people are very, 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 this is a superb effort. That United Team must be the team now to be voted into UNA management so that all Ugandans can be on one united platform. In fact, to this end, I expect all those who support NUP in the diaspora, North America, to support this United Team so that we can have a united platform which can pursue issues that are not essentially political. How do we must kick out politics from UNA by kicking out those leaders, like the lady I saw who went to Uganda to visit Museveni and was given police. This is absolutely wrong.
That's the president of your organization. That's the president of UNA, and she has the right to go and meet the president of the host country. For example, Uganda, where most of Ugandans were born. She's your president. She's supposed to go and represent. Isn't that right?
Yeah, she's right. But the point is, she went in as a very good supporter.
I love Ugandans.
And highlighted that. Now, that is what we don't want. And it is wrong. It is wrong for any president of UNA to go visiting the president of Uganda. It is wrong. Because when you do that, you are being partisan. If you visit the president of Uganda, go to Magere also and visit Kyagulanyi. Why do you visit only the president of Uganda?
Can I submit?
We are saying today Kyagulanyi is the de facto leader of the opposition. Who doesn't know that? So if you can't visit Kyagulanyi, don't visit Museveni.
All right, Martin.
What we are saying is that it is wrong to put politics in UNA, and we are going to kick out the supporters of Museveni from UNA because that's the best way to depoliticize UNA.
All right, Martin, I want to thank you so much for your time. I thank you for all the arguments, suggestions. I hope to have you again on this show before you and also when new developments come up, especially on the international matters. Martin, thank you so much, and I hope to have you again. All right.
Thank you.
Guys, I've had a submission, and the reason I focus on UNA is because it's one organization that really we need to be discussing about somehow before I end the show today. Isn't this the right time for you guys now to start thinking about this organization that's supposed to help you guys here?
Let me first make a statement here.
Right.
I'm a Muganda. I don't deny that I'm not a true Muganda. But I don't fight other tribes that came in that are fighting us for our right to exist in Uganda. The issue of Nabagereka being abused by Lumbuye, as my land friend said, is for us as Baganda. Each area has its own people. The way if someone is abused on such a high caliber, he buys a goat, or he buys a goat or buys a cow and presents it to the Nabagereka for forgiveness and it's slaughtered. That's our culture. So that's not an issue. We have issues that we are supposed to deal with in Buganda. The Kabaka of Buganda wakes up in the morning and goes to Museveni to beg him not to take away my land, including my land. Our land in Buganda is our right to exist on this land of our great-grandfathers.
All right, Richard, I want to, I want to thank you, but I want to take you down to the UNA issue. Right.
Okay, now, if you see the Kabaka of Buganda going to beg for his land and his own people the right to exist,
right,
and you see a Muzungu given the land of the people of Buganda and he's holding a gun to protect his land. You saw it on social media because that's what Museveni is doing. He gives the land to the Chinese people. And it takes out for us to exist in that country. Now it's going to make a land reform, taking out the Milo land, including a provision that when you're out of the country for 20 years, your land is going to be confiscated by the government. And when you are in America here chasing papers, or you are working, or you are going to school, it's not because you left Uganda because you don't like it. You came for a better opportunity and you're helping people in Uganda. You cannot renew a passport in America. You have to renew a passport in Uganda. That means you are taking away our right of land, our right of citizenship, our right to exist, our right to work in the country. We must not sleep. We must wake up and form. This is what Biakweka must have had in mind, but he never mentioned it properly. You have a Ugandan in the diaspora political council to deal with the issues that affect our country as an organization, as an umbrella, because there's a convention that are coming in this month.
Coming month, right? So,
Yes,
so that's the reason why I asked the question.
NUP, there's another one coming in. I don't know if this month, organized by one of my friends that used to attend on the shows. You are going to
get information,
yes.
Right?
All we need is a Ugandan nationals. Don't forget, political council, of where I'm going to be a member, if you can attend, if we are going to be a member, even if you're NUP, DP, UNA, you just have to be voted in that council so that we can deal with our issues of national concern.
All right, Richard, I want to thank you.
That's more important than these other things that Kabaka Nabagereka was abusing. It's a big issue. No, we shall deal with that.
All right, Richard, you know, I want to thank you so much for that submission. But Apollo, your last one, and I want to get to hear your view on the issue of UNA. It's an organization that is meant to unite Ugandans and improve on their social well-being here in North America. But what we're seeing is just a political motive. I asked the same question to Martin, and Martin put a very great submission. What's your view on how UNA is handling these issues? We are soon getting to elections, and I'm sure this is going to be one of our topics very soon that we'll be discussing thoroughly. We'll be bringing in these these leaders or candidates who want to stand for these posts, and we'll see what has to happen. And I'm always bad at them because I ask them questions that matter, not questions because we want to hear answers. So I want to thank you. Apollo, what's your submission on that before we get out of here?
You know, sometimes
right.
There are so many things that really amaze me, because someone can say something in just a minute and then never don't even forget what somebody said in just for 1 minute ago. Martin said something. He said that they are going to kick away the politics in UNA.
Right.
And he said they should not vote the NRM people. They should vote the NUP people. What is that?
I want to get facts first. He didn't.
Hold on. This is what he's just said.
I want to get facts first. He did not say that they shouldn't vote for NRM people. Neither did he say that
he said they should vote in NUP people.
All right.
He said it.
All right.
I think, moderator, you are somewhere else. Come back to the program.
All right. So
yeah, he said it, and now I'm wondering how you can say you don't want politics in this. But I think we are getting. I love Ugandans so much because they are always upside down in concerning national issues and concerns. Right. Because they even forget what they say in just a minute. Look, I don't care so much about UNA. It has nothing to do with me. Nothing, absolutely nothing to do with me. Because I heard about some people telling me, UNA, they go to boat cruise. They talk nonsense. We went to boat cruise, we danced, we did this.
All right.
I've never had something that we talked about this issue. We talked about this issue. And whoever you hear, we are going to UNA. Even recently, somebody called me from California and said, are you coming to UNA? Are you going to miss boat cruise? Can you imagine?
All right. Apple.
So, hold on.
I want to thank you guys.
Concerning the issue of Ugandans uniting in America, whoever, even if you unite 100%, you will never change anything until you change your mindset, the way you see things.
All right. Guys, gentlemen, I want to thank you so much. I want to thank you. I want to thank Martin, who has been part of the show tonight, and Richard and Apollo. It has been a pleasure having you again on the show.
I have a minute to correct.
Yeah, Martin, I want to bring you in, and then we close the show. Sure.
Yeah, let me. I want to correct. I think my friend Apollo did not understand what I said.
Right.
What's happening now in UNA? There are two teams standing for leadership. One, it belongs to the present president. The other team is called the United Front or the United Platform, whatever it is called. Now, that team is not UNA. That team is composed of Ugandans from all political shades. And I said, I like this. Because if all Ugandans of political shades can assume the leadership of UNA, that will be very good. Because then we shall all be included so that we can work for the betterment of UNA to serve Ugandans. That's what I said. I didn't say vote no. I only said this is the best opportunity for NUP to vote such a team, because this is a united front. NUP is working for the united platform of all Ugandans. So what's wrong with that?
All right.
That's what I said.
All right, Martin, I want to thank you so much. And gentlemen, I want to thank you so much to our viewers. We always appreciate your time you put in to watch our show. You may be somewhere else, but you decided to be part of the Epic Front here on AITV. We are live from our headquarters in Boston, Massachusetts, United States. And coming up live is Your Voice. Have a great week. See you again sometime, someplace, different views. Thank you.